Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a piece of source material that honestly reads like a modern-day parable about self-improvement. It's this absolutely fascinating look at the psychology of discipline versus distraction, all told through the journey of a young guy getting into fitness. It perfectly breaks down how we choose to better ourselves, the mindsets we fall into, and, well, the hidden traps of modern achievement that are literally everywhere these days. So, let's jump right in.
Right off the bat, I want you to think about this question. When you step into the gym, or frankly, when you start any big new project in life, which world are you choosing? Are you there for the gritty, unglamorous process, or are you just kind of showing up for the performance and the applause? Keep that battle between process and outcome in the back of your mind. Today, we're following someone who is standing right at the starting line, staring down this exact psychological dilemma.
Our story kicks off with a super relatable scenario. A skinny young guy walks into a gym for the very first time. And he's got a dream, right? He wants to build strength, real strength, and completely transform his body. He wants to turn that vision into a tangible reality. We have all been there. You know that feeling of stepping into an intimidating new space, armed with nothing but your goals and a whole lot of nervous energy? But crossing that physical threshold is actually a massive psychological barrier. And the second he steps inside, he realizes he has to make a huge choice.
Okay, let's dive into this because what he finds under this single roof captures the modern fitness landscape so perfectly. It's literally two completely different worlds existing side by side. He doesn't just need to figure out how to lift weights. He has to decide which entire philosophy of self-improvement he's going to adapt. Our environment heavily dictates our behavior, and right out of the gate, he's hit with two incredibly divergent cultures that couldn't be more opposite if they tried.
So here's what that contrast actually looks like on the ground. On one side of the room, you've got the old school bodybuilder, and on the other, the modern fitness influencer. The sensory details from this source text are just fantastic here. Over in the old school corner, it's all about this gritty simplicity. Clanging iron, heavy chalk dust in the air. No fancy cameras, no specialized lighting. It is purely functional. But then you look across the room to the influencer's turf, and it's a totally different vibe. It's a sea of cameras, tripods, and bright ring lights. It's basically a production studio that's just masquerading as a gym. Let's zoom in on the veteran first. What's really cool here is how the bodybuilder's reality is completely self-contained. He operates with this unshakable, process-oriented mindset. He's lifting heavy with absolute, unbreakable focus. But he's not arrogant about it. The text specifically points out that he actively helps beginners. The one thing he never does, though, he never chases attention. Every single drop of sweat is earned. It's physical proof of years of quiet, unrecorded discipline.
Now, contrast that steady, grounded rhythm with the influencer's reality. It is a completely erratic, endless loop of validation seeking. Instead of actually lifting heavy, it's all about adjusting the angles. Instead of helping the newbies, he's glued to checking his phone. And instead of focusing on, muscle engagement, he's constantly retaking clips to get that one perfect aesthetic shot for social media. It's a classic dopamine loop. He's chasing instant gratification and digital likes over foundational effort. It's a flurry of activity, sure, but activity definitely doesn't equal accomplishment.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when you stretch these two philosophies over a timeline. Day one, the choice is made. But watch what happens as the weeks roll by. The influencer gains thousands of new followers. His digital footprint is exploding. But his actual physical progress, it's basically at zero. The illusion of progress completely masks reality, and that illusion is so dangerous because it tricks your brain into feeling accomplished without doing the actual work. On the flip side, as the months pass, the young guy who put his head down and did the physical work is gaining real, raw strength. Time is always the ultimate truth teller. It's the daily grind that completely separates them. The old bodybuilder's routine is just relentless. He shows up early, pushes through the pain, rain, or shine, no excuses. It is entirely unglamorous. Meanwhile, the influencer is hitting all these shiny dopamine milestones, thousands of new followers. But the mirror and the barbell are telling the cold, hard truth. Zero physical progress. All that digital growth is literally just a smokescreen for physical stagnation. So faced with these two realities, what does our protagonist do? The young man chooses the old school path. Yes, this is the absolute turning point in his whole journey. He flat out rejects the superficial shortcuts. He ignores the pull of instant digital validation. He looks past the glowing ring lights, and he chooses the chalk dust. He decides that real transformation requires real, grounded effort. So the crucial point is how he actually executes this choice, right? It's a highly systematic, completely unglamorous method. Step 1, he humbles himself. He puts the ego totally aside and learns proper form. Step 2, he overhauls his fuel, locking into a strict diet. And step 3, which is honestly the hardest part of the whole shebang, he keeps training even when progress is painstakingly slow. There are no highlight reels for this stuff, just strict, methodical execution of the basics, day in and day out. I really want to pause here for a second because this is the exact psychological hurdle that breaks most people. He keeps pushing even when progress feels completely invisible. Have you ever been there? You're putting in the work, you're eating right, you're showing up, but the results just aren't showing up in the mirror yet. It is so ridiculously tempting in those invisible months to just grab a ring light and pretend you've made it. But by staying the course, by accepting that real growth is hidden way before it's ever seen, he sets himself up for the true reward. And man, here is the payoff. Months of consistent, quiet work finally materialize. The external rewards are obvious, right? He's gained solid muscle and real, raw strength, but it's the internal transformation that's the real game changer. He develops this unshakable confidence. He no longer craves any outside validation. The discipline he forged under the heavy iron has completely rewired his brain. He doesn't need a bunch of followers to tell him he's strong. He knows he's strong because he built it himself from the ground up. Which leads us to this beautifully quiet, incredibly powerful resolution. Our young man smiles, walks straight over to the old bodybuilder and holds out his hand. And the veteran mentor, seeing this total physical and mental transformation, just gives a proud nod, a quiet smile, and firmly shakes the young man's hand. It's a profound acknowledgement of earned strength. No cameras captured it, no followers liked it, but it's a moment of deep mutual respect between two people who understand the true value of hard work. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Take a look at whatever goals you're pursuing right now in your own life and ask yourself honestly, are you building real strength or are you just adjusting the angle? Are you putting in the invisible work or are you just chasing the illusion of progress? Thank you so much for hanging out and exploring this powerful narrative with me.